Good morning, everyone. This is a full house. Good to see you all. Greetings from America. Wow, such a beautiful place. I've spent the last couple days really enjoying your amazing country and this amazing city. And I come from, as you know, Arizona, which is a border state, but when I was a child, I grew up in a river town. Not so similar to Budapest. It was in Iowa, which is a rural part of our beautiful United States of America. I was the youngest of 9 children, 8 girls and 1 boy. Yes, he turned out normal. So usually the first question they ask, how did the boy turn out? He turned out great, and I'm so blessed to come from a big family. We didn't have a lot. My father was a history teacher. My mother was a nurse, but we were raised with a good work ethic, and we knew that if we worked hard, then we could enjoy the American dream. And so I set out as a youngster to be a journalist because I love to tell people stories. I love to dig for the truth and present that. And with the grace of God, I became successful in my career and was the leading news voice in Arizona for nearly 27 years, which was such a blessing. And then something happened that changed all of our lives. COVID struck. And as I was reading the news and explaining what was happening to the good people of my state, I started to realize that some of that news wasn't really true, that there wasn't the full story being told. And so I made a very difficult decision to walk away from my career that I love so much. I just decided that if I can't be fully truthful with the people, then I don't want to lend my heart, my soul, my voice, and frankly, my reputation to propaganda, which is what it was becoming. And so it took a great deal of courage to step away because I'm going to be honest, I was walking away from a large paycheck. And that was not easy to do, to walk away from that. But I prayed to God, and I said, God, give me a hint, give me a sign if I'm doing the right thing. And one day in my office, I opened up my Bible, and the first verse I saw was 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. You bring nothing into this world, and you take nothing out of it. And I thought, what good is a paycheck if we're losing our country? So with that, I walked away. I stepped away from my career. And I really never regretted it for a second. But the amazing thing happened. I put a video out to the people of Arizona telling them why I was leaving. And they said, thank you for being honest. We've appreciated your coverage. You've been one of the fair ones. Would you please consider running for office? Would you consider getting into politics? To which I immediately thought, well, they must hate me. If they want me to leave the corrupt world of news and go into the even more corrupt world of politics, they must think I'm crazy. But I decided this is really what our founding fathers in America had planned. They planned for real moms, dads, citizens to step forward and run for office. And so I took a great leap of faith. I stepped into the political arena, and we created the greatest movement of mama bears and dads, and a great political movement where all kinds of people got involved. Students got involved. It was truly one of the greatest political movements the state of Arizona had ever seen because it was really set up with policies similar to what you're doing here in Hungary. I had no idea when we decided that our top priority was going to be to secure our southern border, to stop the invasion at Arizona's border. Our borders in Arizona at the time were being controlled by the drug cartels in Mexico, and the fentanyl was pouring across and it was killing our babies, our children. And I said, this is nuts, we gotta stop this. And so with that, I said, we're gonna build the wall, we're gonna protect our citizens. I wanna be that mama that would protect my family, and I wanna be that kind of a governor for Arizona. So we had an amazing movement, and we were going to do all kinds of great things to strengthen the family, much like what you're doing here, so that families were able to work and raise their family and have a healthy environment for their children and have an education where our kids are not being indoctrinated, but rather they're getting skills training so that when they get out of school, they can go out and be contributing members. We also have a plan to end homelessness and chronic street homelessness so that our streets are safe. Little did I know I would walk into Budapest and basically see all of the policies that we dream for in Arizona, right here in this beautiful city. My daughter came along with me. She's somewhere. She's right here in the front row. And unfortunately, the airlines lost her bags. So she spent the day roaming the beautiful streets of Budapest, shopping and gathering a few things to wear. And I didn't worry about her for 1 second. I knew she was exploring this beautiful place, And that's the kind of safety and security that every mother should be able to see for her children. And we can do that if we put forth strong leaders. Unfortunately, yes. So, unfortunately, it is those strong leaders like your Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who I had the great pleasure to meet yesterday. What a gentleman, what a kind man, what a hardworking man. And President Trump, who we heard from earlier. The people who are the truth tellers and the peacemakers who are being destroyed by the fake news. We call it fake news, and I think you call it that as well, right? And we have to push back against this megaphone for the globalists. They will destroy our globe if we allow them to. And you know, it's interesting because I worked in the media. It's always opposite day in the media. If they say that what you're doing is bad, it's probably good. If they say that what's being done is good, it's probably bad. And I always said on the campaign trail, before they stole our election from us in Arizona on November 8th, I said, you need to vote for the people who the fake news is attacking. Those are the people who are fighting for you. The Viktor Orbans of the world, the Donald Trumps, the Kari Lakes, the people who are willing to take the heat, take the hits in the media. It's almost gotten to a point where if you're not strong enough to take criticism from the fake news, if you're not strong enough to not worry about being canceled on social media, then maybe you're not strong enough for the fight. And so we need to get strong. We need strong leaders. We need strong mothers and fathers who aren't afraid of the criticism, who aren't afraid to be called names because they stand up for their children's education. They don't want their children to be indoctrinated in school. And we have that. That's growing in America, and I'm so happy. You know, one of the things my team does every day is they print out the news headlines. I haven't gotten them. Colton, hand me the headlines real quick. It's almost comical. Hang on. Every day they print out the headlines, and I feel like I'm on Planet Crazy. I call it Planet Crazy because if you believe what the fake news says, you really do start to think we're on Planet Crazy. Here we go. This is just on CPAC. Hungary hosts European CPAC in hopes of rallying global far right. Orban's vilification of migrants is at center stage in CPAC and returns to Hungary. I mean, this is crazy stuff. Vilification? How about Orban is pushing an agenda that helps the people of his country, that protects the people of his country? That's how that headline should have been written. Hungary's autocratic leader tells U.S. conservatives to join his culture war. Now, I would write that with a strong leader like Viktor Orban encouraging mothers and fathers and people around the globe to protect their families. But see, they don't know how to write headlines. And here's one. They actually went after one of my favorite people, Congressman Paul Gosar, one of the greatest congressmen to walk the halls of Congress in our great country. Paul Gosar to share stage with members of a party founded by Nazis. This is insane stuff. I'll get to the last one here. They called us ultra-conservative. You know what? I've been called worse. Here's one, and this one hits us. Kari Lake and Paul Gosar to appear with far-right politicians. You know what? I'll take that. So far, we have been right about everything. And the far left have been wrong. They've been wrong, and if we continue to allow them to bully us with their propaganda, which frankly is garbage, tear it up, don't read it. If we allow them to continue this, we will lose our country. We will lose our children's future. And so we need to fight what the media is saying. It's all lies. And they wonder why we don't believe them when they start to talk about the war in Ukraine. We start to really wonder if they're telling us the truth about everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm out of time, but as a mother from Arizona, we've sent $170 billion to Ukraine while we have a wide open border and we have drug cartels running our state. We can't afford to do that anymore. We need to invest in America. And I believe that the first way out of this war, to bring the peacemakers in, and I understand that Prime Minister Orban has offered up this beautiful city for peace talks, the only way to stop that war is to turn off the money to it. And I believe that in America, we need to turn off the money to this war and bring together Zelensky and Putin sit them down here in this beautiful country, in this beautiful city, and sit them at a table and say, come to peace. We need peace in this world. The mothers demand peace for our children. I thank you so much, Hungary, for inviting me. And I just want you to know, I have great hope, and I'm going to end it with this because I know that God doesn't make mistakes. God put each and every one of us here, at this pivotal moment in human history, in American history, in Hungarian history, that he put us here for this fight. We are fully equipped for this fight, and everybody can play a part in it. So let's continue fighting for our children and for our countries. Thank you, Hungary. Thank you, Miklas, and thank you, CPAC, for inviting me. Appreciate it.